Good morning, guys. Welcome to FYI. Welcome to each and every one of you. We trust that you guys have had a fantastic day, and we trust that a fantastic evening, and the day is off to a great start. We trust that you guys have had a great evening's rest, and this morning is going to be productive. The afternoon is going to be productive. So good to see each and every one of you there. I see Tommy Gibbs already joining us on YouTube, and John Jones, Beatrice Selby on YouTube as well, folks. That YouTube audience is really growing, and we're so pleased. And so many of you join us via YouTube. You know, Facebook always up and down and sideways, but we can always depend on YouTube. To be steady, always depend on YouTube. I see Michaela Andrew Coates is here as well. The first person who is joining us on Facebook. Facebook. Michaela, good to see you. Good morning. Trust you great today, guys. How are you doing? Wherever you are, how are you doing? How's the weather where you guys are? You know, we got some weather predictions we're going to be talking about closer to our end. The weather going to be a little thingish between now and they say January, but we can get to that in just a little bit. Good to see Lynn Finance joining us, and Fitz Herbert, Jarek. Fitz, how are you doing? How is Connecticut? Please let us know. Lynn, how are you? And how is Lena? Please let us know that as well. And I see Claire Alexis Charmley. Richmond is here. That's Claire. How are you? Hope you're resettled nicely back in familiar environments, and really good to have you with us this morning, Claire. Really good to have you with us. Pauline Hicks, we see you, and Yolanda Thomas. I see Renald Warren is here with us as well, and Adil Beckles. Good to see Adil here, and I see Magalia Letlow. Good to see you, Magalia, and Desmond Benjamin. Paulette, I see Beatrice, of course, is here with us, and Beatrice always joins us via YouTube. So glad you folks are here. Fitzherbert says it's unseasonably warm in Connecticut. We have Don Johnson. We have, is it Fennell? Fennell is here as well. Charles Duncan, family. Fennell Innes. Just to be clear, Charles Duncan joining us. Kim Luke. Julie's going to join us in just a few as well. But good to have Kim and Luke join us, and Lena Williams. Lena, just talking your name, girl. Lena, just talking your name. I hope you're great, Lena. I hope you're great. Yep. And Lynn says weather is nice at her end. Lynn is joining us from New York, and Lynn says the weather is fine at her end. Gail Alicock. Folks, I'm so thankful for social media. You know, long time. You had to wait so long to hear from people from New York. You had to write a letter, put a stamp on it, go to the post office, post, all the drama. Now, boom, Lynn Fernandez is here with us, and all the other guys joining us in the diaspora, just like that, in real time. So fascinating. You can pick up your phone. You know, first time, I got my little age, you know. I just keep good. Thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I keep good. I got my little age. I remember those days, my mother had to go and book a call at GT&T. In those days, GT&T was downstairs by Bank of Guyana. Right? I show you my age now. Downstairs at Bank of Guyana, I had to go and book a phone call. You know, then you get a time to come back and make the phone call. It was endless waiting. Now, right from your smartphone, boom. You know, you don't even need GT&T. Right from WhatsApp. You call your family, your relative, your conference call even. I'm so fascinated by technology. And that we can hear from you guys every morning. We can wait 2 weeks, 3, 4 weeks for mail to cross the Atlantic Ocean by ship. And then we hear from you guys in real time. I'm so pleased by that. Sharika, y'all remember those days, man? GT&T downstairs at Bank of Guyana. Yes. Those were the days you had to go and book a phone call, and then they give you a date, right? Come back Wednesday at 7:30 or something like that. You got a big long line outside, and even they say come back 7:30, it's endless waiting. And then you can hear a voice said, Sherrod Duncan, boot 2. Sherrod Duncan, boot 2. That's me. Folks, I'm so grateful for technology. May it keep advancing, right? Jurito Finance, boot 1. Jurito Finance, boot 1. And this, if you want to hear the whole country business, you go down there. Girl, you see, people have to tell the whole village story. Forget a little 50 US. Girl, the one baby is pregnant. But she have a husband, you go and sit down in GT&T. You know everybody business. You need newscast. You go and sit down and treat in the air. You can't wait for them because the booths were so close. You see, the booths were so close. Right? The booths were so close. I think Judy's going to join us. I think she's going to grace us with her presence. Treat her now with them days. Treat her young.
I know a different story.
Treat her young in this business. You see, you could still see she mother milk in her face. Right? She mother milk still in her face. She young in this thing yet. Young yet in this business. Young yet in this business.
I don't know if I'm young in the business or not, but
right. Guys, excuse me for a sidebar. We got some of the blue bleeding in. I think we got something with the background.
The sidebar.
Yeah, that is something. Yeah.
I don't know how young I am, but you had to wait for your name to be called.
Yeah. You had to wait. You had to wait for your name to be called. Jurita Finance, Butchery. And then all Jurita business girl, the one pregnant me. The one breed me.
The one pregnant, sure doesn't.
The one breed me.
That was not even like, I don't know. When was this? I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out when was this. I think you were ahead of the game, Come on. I'm coming from a different era. You know where I'm coming from? I think one of the things that we did have when I was growing up, when I was in my teenage years, if I can say it like that, my teenage years was more of the phone booths. We had phone booths back then. Guys, if you had phone booths, let me know there in the comment section if you had to go by the phone booths. I can tell you, those were the days when young men actually had to put effort into getting a girl's attention. Those are the days when young men actually had to make sure that they went the extra mile to make sure that they got a girl's attention or something like that. I don't know why these guys rush into the morning papers. Me ready for the morning papers yet, right? We are going to be going. We're going to be having the conversation about this phone booth. I don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
At the back, it's pocketoring.
Yeah.
Leslie Charles, good morning to you. Hey, Leslie, good morning. Hope all is well at your end. I hope you're doing great. I don't know why I come this morning and disrupt this whole set. Sure, it went good talking to y'all, but no, Jaretta had to come in with corruption, right? So, Don Sullivan, how many of you guys in the comment section actually had to go to the phone booth, buy that phone card and go to the phone booth and make that call? How many of you had to do that? I had to do a schedule on the other end to tell the girl, I'm calling at this time to make sure that you're about. It was most crazy, but I remember the phone booth days. I think that's one that I can actually relate to. So I still got little age on me, Cheryl.
How did you folks use your phone booth there?
No, we had for example, in Bartica, there were, I think there were like 2 phone booths, and there were one at just outside the hospital gate, and then there was another one. Right close to the Stelling, the transport and harbor Stelling there. So when I look back at those days, I remember seeing the long line, persons literally lined up to make a phone call, and you had to buy a phone card and punch in your number, and God be with you if somebody saw your card number, right?
Yeah.
During that time, it was actually something that people used to do: go and peep somebody's card number and go and make phone calls with it behind the back. So sometimes you're gone with your card, you think you got a card with credit, but you don't, because somebody already finished all your minutes from the card. So it's actually that was the craziest thing. I see Marie Danielle is on with us this morning. So good morning to you and Yolanda Thomas of Wisma Hospital compound. Had a booth. Yes, I think they try to put it in those areas. That's GT&T, the phone company. Try to put it in those areas so that persons, card thief. Yes, Kishan, there were a lot of card thieves back then. So they peep your card. A lot of persons used to go and ask, could I borrow your card? Could I borrow your card to make a call? And then they go with your number. And that's it for you. Don't even look back at it. That was a big story back in the days if somebody actually used all the minutes from your card. So, I see, oh goodness, I missed that comment there. Sorry, but I was seeing someone talking about a mother or the grandmother placing calls overseas using that system.
Which sister?
right? I see Amari Daniels actually saying that you had to have a calling card, which that's it. That's it,
Oh,
guys.
yes.
Yes, a calling card. That's what you had. That's just it. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but we've graduated.
Some of you are carrying a little age.
My friend, let me tell you, right?
Some of you are carrying a
So
little age.
guys, guess what? Like my friend, like my friend Colin,
Mhm.
we went to high school together. When he left the country, we were like in third formers, so and we used to write back and forth
Wow.
about the difference in experiences that, and when you would know when Colin write, because he usually writes like big, and then so it was like 50 pages coming in the mail. So when my when my when my mother see when my mother see the envelope coming, she's like, ah, she know who's writing.
Colin.
Colin sending his
Colin the
mail.
novelist. Yeah, you have to go and book up for that.
Pages and pages.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
yeah.
That's just how the way it was
Yeah.
back then. And we're bet. I don't know how different. I don't know how different things could have been for people right now if it was that slot system. I mean, it helped a lot when it comes to the way in which things were done, the speed at which relationships went by, because it was a lot slower.
Yeah, I was about to
Because
tell you.
it was a
about to
lot
tell you.
slower, simply because there wasn't no possibility for it to be faster, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You know how many times you can sit down and write those letters to somebody and then go and write another one to
You were forced to take your time between the time.
good.
You know?
But then here comes the information age and technological advancement and all of that, and here we are, make blow easier. Those crazy
What
things.
name's blow? What name's
All those things, I think technology
What
has fast-tracked the
Blow,
pace,
what is
the
it?
pace of life. So persons are not taking it slow,
Yeah.
taking it easy anymore. But I still encourage persons to write, write the letters. Those things have significant meaning, I think,
Please do. Please do.
write the letters, guys. Come on, write the
Please
letters,
do.
right? I don't know how
Every
many
now
of
and
you.
again. You left a little note. You know? And you
Write a letter. Don't write a little
Right?
note story.
Sometimes a letter might seem formidable to some people. You
Like
know?
write a letter.
Start with a little paragraph.
Mm.
Note. Start in the front.
All right.
And then we can graduate you all.
You graduate here.
Yeah.
I think I like the I think Keyshawn is talking about dial-up internet. Yeah, those were the days. Goodness.
We took long to get telephone. That's number one. The family. We took long to get dial-up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To talk to my girlfriend, I said, go by the neighbor. Dial-up. I still waiting for the thing to connect until now.
Look, I don't know. Keyshawn is a different. Keyshawn is saying that pen pals. Now this is one of my favorites, right? So pen pals. I don't know if you guys remember, but in the Guyana Chronicle, actually they had a section that was pen pal section, right? And you persons used to send in like pen pal. They used to send the information like how you can contact their their address, so you can write them their name, and they used to put like their interest. And so you would literally go and just pick somebody out of there and start writing them just like that. That was like that's how we have
the thing.
Like
Caribbean social media.
You know how they have things like these dating websites now, like Caribbean Cupid and stuff like that. You would go on there.
You know.
I'm very familiar with dating websites. Yeah, I was in university like over a decade ago.
I can grab this one and read it now. High Five. High Five was the precursor to Facebook.
Yeah, you lose me there. I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
Yeah. I think Zuckerberg received the idea from High Five. High Five was it? Facebook haven't done High Five dance. Just like that. I still got High Five account.
You have a High Five account?
Yeah.
It works still?
Yeah, I think it still works. Yeah.
I thought they crashed.
High Five.
Yeah, but the pen pals and all those things. But it just goes to show that, like, from ever long, persons had the yearning for communication.
Yeah.
And today we have too many things on the fast track that I think people lose.
She had lots of pen pals.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So
that's how people get rich, It's like send a small piece, you got 500 pen pals, you can make a little change. A lot of pen pals,
It's crazy, but like I was saying, like I think things have become so fast, right? That people lose the essence of the importance of communication, and that's something it's a major setback right now. We see a lot of failures because of that.
Pen pal.
You had a pen.
Beard. She lived in Essequibo, and we used to write. She migrated a little bit. I wonder if she saved my letters. I didn't save hers, but she saved mine. Look back at some of the nonsense you write.
I didn't save any letters. I can never save
My mother had to
letters.
proofread the letters first.
Your mother proofread your letters?
You gonna embarrass his family. You better get your forms together. You think you're gonna bring disgrace to his family?
Your mother proofread your letters?
Yeah.
This is different. This is next level.
Yeah. A friend of mine said a gentleman came calling his sister one Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't home. The fella asked him, "Where are she gone?"
So my mother said, right?
I know the whole family doesn't say the have already.
My mother said.
Well, hold on. He said, not wanting the fella to feel bad, he answered back in the very same way. She are gone to the market. Oh, she are gone to the market.
And my mother said she had liked this boy in high school, and she said, and it was like, I think it was like a mutual attraction, right? She said the day he decided to write her a love letter, he said, when she opened the letter and she saw the grammar, it's instantly like and stuff.
That thing finished a lot of relationship. English language, finish a lot of relationship. I tell you that the whole family signed it by where she got. So you can come out different. I said I mix up English. Where has she gone, folks? We come a long way.
She had gone to the market.
We come along. Not far enough. We got here for at the top there. Folks, lots happening in the morning paper. Lots to get to. Right? We are going to the morning papers. Let's move along. You know, we come far away, but clearly not far enough. We got earphone today.
My last thing I'm going to say as I go into the morning paper is that young ladies, like who have used to write shared back in the day, is the reason why he didn't express himself fully, because his mother was proofreading the letter.
Some of them letters were never said. You like who? You like who? You better go read your books. You're too young for like it. You know?
On that note, we're gonna go into the morning papers.
Folks, move it on.
Oh, good Lord.
Moving on. Lots of things to discuss in the morning papers this morning. You like who? You want to be president? You can. But then you bad parts, right? Look.
My little daughter says every day she's gonna be a billionaire. Yeah. So this morning they don't have school because her teacher have training and so, right? So I told her they have homework to write a composition on myself. It's my 7-year-old. So I'm telling her that I'm structuring it with her. I'm saying, so we're going to do paragraphs, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs in the paragraph. These are how the sentences got to be aligned. And so here she, why I got to do all that work? I think, so you think it's just you start a billionaire?
Work.
You better start.
Better structure those
right?
sentences.
I think you know, you got to be working above.
Folks, we can keep pushing, keep improving our English language and so on. But that's happening, folks, in the morning papers. And the first thing we want to touch on is what's happening with the hydromet, folks. But I told you we got some predictions where the weather is concerned. I don't know if it's global warming or it's just menopause, shared pause. Somebody paused it. But the weather doing the most. The weather is doing the most, and the hydromet has some predictions. Yes. I know the guys have it for us.
They're basically saying that there's going to be wetter than usual weather from November to January, and definitely I think that this has been something we've gotten used to, where the reports come in and predictions being made that it's going to have a little bit worse weather coming up, and this is all because of global warming. And we know this is a conversation that is being had throughout the world. This is not unique to Guyana. The only thing unique to Guyana is that we don't put preparations in place to actually deal with it. I mean, I'm happy to see. Well, it's the 3rd of November, so it would have been good if it had come out a little bit prior. But we need to have systems in place that we can actually deal with these situations. But it's hot right now. I can say that. Usually it's just hot. However, whatever temperature is, I feel it in my body 2 times that amount. Like I don't know, I just feel hotter every time.
She's a delicate feel of her life.
It must be, you know.
Jennifer Bob goes to see you and Beatrice Selby, stand born Natisha Barker. Good to see Jacqueline Clark joining us as well. And Marilyn Seafood, guys. Welcome. Share the live. Smash that emoji button. Partner with us as well. I'm glad to have you folks here. Some other stuff, folks. Some other stuff in that morning papers, Rita.
As we move forward, guys, the next thing we want to look at is the fact that the recent announcement, I think this is a second bit that says a nationwide cleanup exercise plan for November 12th.
Yeah.
A one-off cleanup exercise is not going to solve anything when it comes to sanitation and the issues that we have. You do not get to starve the relevant authority of the funds to actually make sure that the place is clean and then plan a cleanup exercise in which you're going to channel millions of dollars into that day to make sure that you have a good showing. That doesn't make sense. You have to have the systems and structure in place, and you need to empower the local authority areas, the administrative local authority organizations, to make sure that they have the capacity, particularly the financial capacity, to keep the place clean. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Again, I think you say it exactly right. Stop usurping the authority of the agencies that should be doing the cleanup on a daily, regular basis. Right? On a daily, regular basis. What the leadership should be doing is enforcing those messages. You have your press conferences, you engage the public and so on. You enforce the message. Allow the agencies to function. If the ministry is usurping the cleanup activity, then you're not focused on what you should be focused on. You know, but empower the bodies like the main city council, for instance, like the NDCs, like the municipalities, right? Like the RDCs to do the work. Give them the resources to do the work, right? But see, they're not interested in that. What they want is a photo up with a spade in their hand and a broom and saying, "But you could join in when the NDC cleaning the drains and so on." You see, but don't usurp the function because things don't function properly like that at all. So. Right? How much time you have a national cleanup? Like every day is supposed to be national cleanup because the organizations, the bodies, the NDCs, the RDCs are functioning well. And so every day the place becomes fun.
And we have some pretty filthy people out there, you know. Sad.
You see, when they see national cleanup, somebody come in, they got state visit or something this way. Somebody come in.
This is particularly to make sure that a certain set of people benefit on a specific day from resources. You would not imagine that you not imagine how they structure things, but you cannot stifle the local body system from actually having the resources, the money. You cannot be cutting fundings to the people and then want to say that, oh, you have to go in and do this national cleanup day. That it doesn't work like that. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So folks, some other things are the morning papers. Julia, you have it there?
Yes, I do. I do have it here. You know, the elections inquiry to open today, which is to testify from tomorrow. Did you get any letter inviting you?
Like a couple things I want to see.
I saw Schumann got a letter. How come you didn't get a letter? You were right there throughout the recount process, you know, reporting on the matters. You would be a key witness for them to call. But I saw them call Schumann. I saw him post a letter that he was asked to come as a witness there. They didn't call you, Sean? No. You check your mail? You check your mail, Sharon?
Yeah, check my mail.
Yeah.
I never sent it via hi-fi. I see what happened.
Listen.
I don't know. It won't get me via hi-fi, but all of the channels open. All of the channels, you know.
The people, they're friends, right? You know what's going on there. The country knows what's going on here, particularly when it comes to the terms of reference to your this particular inquiry. This is not going anywhere. You do not get to fight an actual election petition and then go wrong it. You know, draw a line around the whole issue and go forward like that. That is absolute crazy.
They're framing it for their own narrative.
Yeah, but I can't get it. There's no amount of sending out each and every one of them on a program to have discussions that collectively nobody's listening to what they have to say about that. Everyone understands what went on at the last election because we went into the ballot boxes. So there's not a single Guyanese that believes that our system is above and it is completely bulletproof from fraud and all of those things. Everybody believes that there's many loopholes, and everybody believes that we have to have electoral reform, and that's the general consensus out there. Only the members of the PPP, and I'm talking about particularly persons in office occupying those very high seats, those are the ones that's fighting it because they see avenues for them to exploit those loopholes and to get their way when it comes to the electoral system in the country. So But
Precisely.
persons like myself, with young in politics and all of that, my only aim is for us to have a system that's bulletproof against fraud and corruption, and to make sure that we have a system in place that persons can be assured that their vote will be counted, and that the final numbers would be of actual people that reside within your country. So those are very important matters to us. So I am not phased by the information, but obviously I will be following every detail that
Correct,
they will
correct,
be bringing out. That's
correct.
not something I'm going to miss. Everything that they say, I'm going to, and if they do say, if I do hear nonsense coming out, I
Yeah,
will call it out.
yeah.
I will call it out. So,
I don't know which cup Schumann thinking,
mm,
which cup he's drinking from.
yep.
So that's that.
Yes, but we have a little bit more before we wrap up the morning papers. The Caribbean Bar Association, Commonwealth Lawyers Group, Hamasuku,
Yeah,
for the unlawful
yeah,
arrest of the attorney.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Those condemnations pouring in.
regional
Yeah, we
embarrassment.
had the
Say
Commonwealth
that.
Bar Association, or I think it's the
Mm.
Commonwealth Association of Lawyers.
Yeah, that's what it
You
is.
had the Barbados, the Jamaican
Mm-hmm.
Bar Association also within. I think I'm missing one other bar association that's very, very strong words for the regime, the PPP, and very strong words for the police force, and by extension, SOKU, right? Or SOKU, and by extension, the police force. Very strong words of, we don't want to take justice and rule of law in this country.
Mm.
And these are the boys who want to preach, So we abide by the rule of law, you know. Them are the real sanctimonious gangsters.
Mm. Perfected the
Yeah,
art.
yeah,
People have perfected
yeah.
the art, the disinformation and all of those things, what they have been doing.
They are the real sanctimonious gangsters. And folks, we got quite a few things brewing internationally. Quite a few things we got brewing internationally that we think that you folks ought to know about. Quite a few things brewing internationally. And oh my, never a dull moment, guys, on the international stage. Never a dull moment. This is one of the things we were following. Russia, remember they had blocked the ports and so on. They want the wheat and so on to pass. The wheat and the fertilizer and the grain and so forth. Well, they have pulled back on that suspension. And they're now asking the United Nations to help ease its food and fertilizer exports. Right? So from being the bully, they themselves are now asking. Right? And Russia played a dangerous game. I hope they know what they're doing. And it just goes to show again how the entire world is interconnected, and what happens here affects us here. Lots of the fertilizers and wheat and what else they produce there comes this way, right? And they are primary products and secondary products, and it affects the price on the world market eventually. And this world is truly a global village, because you wouldn't think ordinarily something happening till so got an effect here on gas prices and all of that is involved here. But they seem to have come to their senses, but they're asking for help now in and of themselves.
The situation in Russia, and we did say it from the beginning, is we understand the war between Russia and the war that they started with the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I have to say that one of the biggest wars that is going on right now is outside of that, and that's the economic war. And those are where that's where all the players and the big players in the world is actually attacking Russia. So you don't see missiles going to Russia for example, from the UK or from the US and so forth. But the sanctions that they are putting in, the economic warfare that is going on there, it's something that Russia is going to feel. And there you see they're feeling it very heavily right now.
Let's give up this thing.
Yeah.
This whole Ukraine conflict.
You can't fight it if it's economic warfare. That is the real war. That's the real war. No amount of missiles and so that you send cannot sustain you if you've been cut off.
Yeah.
Basically.
Good morning, Dave Jural and Brenda Moore, Linda McCalmont and Amari, Outfront Potts, and Merlin Sampson. Merlin, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Thanks for saying, Merlin.
On that note, but I just want to add right now, because guys, you can actually do your own bit of research on this. But there has been for a little while, and talks even right now more than ever, because of the war between Russia and Ukraine. I know that there's a lot of talks between Russia and China as it pertains to the gold standard, and going back to the gold standard as opposed to the paper, the dollar standard that is being internationally recognized and so forth. So there's a big conversation around that. I know Bloomberg they did a whole lot of pieces on that particular bit, but that's a different bit of conversation that we need to go back to. That well, I can tell you that it's not going to be like this. You're not going to just say we didn't go standard. It happened like that. It's an ongoing conversation, but we're going to see where that goes. We have to see where that goes.
Small stuff happening on the international scene this morning, folks. Small stuff brewing. You know, Obama has hit the campaign trail for the Democrats, and he's warning that if this rancor in the political environment, in the political climate continues, more folks can be hurt. And I think this was a reference to Nancy Pelosi's husband, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and some of the other physical confrontations happening there. And God knows we don't want to get to that stage at all. But he says, former President Barack Obama, that if these guys don't bring down the temperature, there'll be problems.
Yeah, you know, what we were seeing there, and then I have to say that the very fact that you see Obama being pulled out to even try to temper what is going on just gives you an idea of the gravity of the situation, right? Because you pull out Obama, he steps out there because he brings a sense of calm and collective thoughts to whatever. Correct. Right, so everything got heated, it got out of control, and there you have Obama. You showing finesse, class, and what all that he brings with him. You know, he just when he speaks, everybody listens because he has that presence and all of that. So, but the problem that we're seeing there is that we have a system in place, and the U.S. is facing it just the same. Persons are at just the tip of just going over when it comes to the level of frustration everybody is feeling right now. 2022 is a difficult time period for a lot of people. A lot of persons have gone through a whole lot, and the US is just facing it who they are differently. They don't have what we have, you know, the fastest growing economy in this part of the world and all of those things. They don't have that. We have that, you know, so we can't.
The fastest growing poverty rate. We're talking about
that. Right, so it's a whole lot going on there. I see Obama out there. I think he may be
working that charm.
I think.
Working working it.
You know, the man served 2 consecutive terms just almost like flawlessly. He just went through so much. Of course, there were the critics and all of those things, but he made it he made it look so easy and effortless in his entire family. But definitely the political climate, it's a nasty one. And if you think the political climate is nasty in the US, then I don't know what they're going to say about us here, because I'm just going to give you this a little mild comparison. It was is it OAC? No, AOC. That's her, Alexandrina Cortez, and she had a situation in which one of the members of the House actually called her a derogatory name outside of the House, and persons it was within the ear song of reporters, and that matter was handled as one of the most serious things ever. You know, she was given the platform, and several persons made presentations in the House actually saying that this is not something to be tolerated and all of that, and then you have all the talks of misogyny and all of those things. They went hardcore in fixing something like that. So when they look at our system, in which you have a minister standing at the podium in the House while giving a presentation and saying you need a dildo, they're going to say, well, we are lost cause, right?
We featured last evening a deputy regional executive officer on the issue with the pensioner who said they needed more money.
Yeah.
She said the woman should go and suck private body part. On social media.
Well, you remember I spoke about all the comments that I saw coming out from that yesterday. So that one is different. I see you don't get to condemn that woman when you are surviving on corrupt money. You know, you don't get to condemn that woman at all when you're survival and you're eating and feeding your family based on pure corruption and on-hand business. So you can just get the hell behind me. Like that's how I see it. You know, so
folks, some stuff brewing regionally as well that we think you all know about. Gwen Anderson and Yusrael Boville and Sandra Jones. Good to see you, Gwyneth. Anderson says I'm late. Well, you know you got to do your penances now. But good to have each and every one. You trust the days out of fantastic start where you're joining us from. Ensure you share that live for us. You smash that emoji button and you partner with us as well. Good folks. Quite a few things happening regionally. We think you ought to know about. Right next door. You know, you're talking about what's happening in the US. The Venezuelan government in the opposition to resume talks shortly. Imagine with all of the stuff
Venezuela,
happening.
you could believe that.
Venezuela. Yeah,
Venezuela.
yeah. Believe
You
it or
know,
not.
it's
Believe it or not.
just wow.
Yeah. They're about to reinitiate talks. But them boys here,
Like I
corporate.
couldn't listen. I could imagine what those boys resuming talks with. Let me tell you what if I were there, if I'm to make an assumption as to the talks, and why I said here this we can't fight each other now because you see Guyana in a delicate state
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
You see the man with got that foreign affairs,
Yes.
and so
Yeah.
we could make a mess of them if we actually unify
Correct.
right now. You know?
Correct.
That's how I
Correct.
see their meetings going
Man of
right
foreign
now.
affairs doing everything else besides foreign affairs. Everything else.
Yeah, it's serious, and I think that any country that sees the needs for government and opposition to work together, particularly a country like Guyana, in which is just a one seat majority in the house, so you basically know the system is split down the
Yeah.
middle. Even if you look at it from that standpoint, as it is being represented right now, more so if you look at it from a standpoint of clean voters list and all of those things, we're not going to get there. But as it is right now, the fact remains that at the level of National Assembly, the PPP have a one seat only majority in the house. So you cannot go and just keep knocking persons out. Even the level of media and the way in which media covers. I remember when we were in office, if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on this, but I believe it was Guilty Share who was kicking up a storm for the opposition to be covered in government media and all of those things, you know. So the same people, you know. Working together is the only way, particularly in a country that's handling new resources, like the oil wealth right about now.
Correct.
Everyone else, the outsiders, benefit when the government and opposition don't work together in this situation with this system. So you understand what's going on right about now. It's nice time for everybody because government and opposition not working together. Government is not even attempting to actually integrate the thoughts and the ideas in the opposition into their policy framework, which is very, very, very weak. So that's where we are. So kudos to Venezuela, you know. I don't know if it will take us to get to that stage before we see the need. Hopefully not, but
gotta do what we gotta do.
Their system is horrible.
Yeah. And next on the other side, folks, we are besieged. Brazil, right? Talking about how they're gonna boost the economy and we're looking to maybe add some more money there. Things tight all over. But some people seem to be managing the situation better than others, Trina. Seem to be managing better than others. And Lula seems like he has a plan.
Somebody's upsetting Gwen in the comment section. Like I just saw Gwen talking about somebody's wife with something with
all that happening? Here we are. I think it's really paying attention.
Listen, y'all get it straight. Focus here. Focus here.
And Lula seems to have a plan and Lula moving forward, folks, and we're gonna be keeping an eye on that. I
don't see it going south or anything like that. So let's just get into the. Let us get into the.
Yeah, it's gonna be watchful because.
Let's get into the fight.
Sometimes on the ground things change quickly. Take it away, Rita. It's your section.
World Bank says almost 50% of Guyanese living on.
We're gonna hold that one. Let's hold the one, Rita, for the.
Is this a missection, man? Sure, I mean, I understand.
Apologies. Let me hold it one for the biggest hit.
Let me hold it.
Yes.
Let me hold it.
I would advance.
Let's hold it.
What about this one?
I'm gonna get into that one.
Yeah. Them men faking. Men faking robbery now. You see, when drilling tunnel, faking robbery, it's very bad. You know, I don't know.
I don't understand.
These for the dunce and dunce dogs. They fake a robbery. Go to report the fake robbery because you got to say with the money gone. You got to at least say employers, are reporting the matter.
Yeah.
And like the police them buying the story at the station, they say, I'm with your backpack. And some of the things reportedly stolen in the backpack. I think like it's early memory loss kicking in here. Them boys put it, but they didn't remember.
So they were looking for it where? In their pockets?
Right?
Who goes to report a robbery that they fake with the items on them in their possession? Who does that?
Dunce Dogs. That was going to do it. Right? Dunce Dogs. Right? Who is going to thief out liquor from a private jet and got it locked up in your house? Well, they even lock up in your house.
In the
man don't put in the cabinet for Christmas when them boys come, they can say I got things in by. Police want to find everything. in the cabinet.
Some part of the Lion King had this song with Dig a Tunnel.
Mm.
Dig a tunnel
Yeah.
quick
Watch,
before the
honestly,
hyenas come.
watch like King plenty times. You know, digging tunnels, boy. He should in the army. Dig a tunnel to Venezuela. We tackle them boys quietly, invade ourselves, you know. Quietly.
No
But them
invasion,
boys,
no invasion, don't worry.
them boys,
We handle it
you know,
with diplomacy. That's the only strength.
fake the
That's the only
robberies.
strength I just go to say diplomacy is the only strength we have, and I don't remember Todd.
That's a weakness right there. That's a weakness in the thing.
So
Yeah, them boys faking robbery, digging tunnel. And Dr. Karen Cummins
mhm,
recently put out a statement on what's happening with maternal deaths.
mhm.
And we've been reading them here, the headlines, you know, woman dead, went to
One
give birth
after the
at
other.
Georgian Public Hospital, woman dead,
Mhm.
woman dead. You see, this is things they should be focusing on, but everybody campaigning on,
Wow.
everybody campaigning in the name of community development.
Mm.
Yeah. We beg, we shop it,
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
right? We big. But we shop it, right? So Dr. Karen says, you know what? We had a plan,
Mm.
and we actually started bringing down those deaths at Georgian Public Hospital Corporation and lifting the respectability of the institution. Right?
What
But now it's right back this way.
what I noticed we did have is that we did have the regional hospitals actually having capacity. And that was a big move, because you don't get to say that you're a developed country if you are just trying to structure things centrally. And that's why when the coalition was in office, they tried to make sure that there was a system worked out to ensure that all the regions had access to the resources and all of those things. The problem that we're seeing right about now is it's so grave that even centrally at GPHC these things are happening. They
Yeah.
have a very
Yeah.
horrible system, and this is no I this I'm going to say this is at
Yeah.
no fault of the healthcare professionals, the doctors and so forth there, because they are placed with limited resources, and in a lot of cases they are being worked over hours and all of those. The system is a mess. It's a total mess. And I will add at this point in time, while I do give all the credit to those persons, and so there is a bigger issue at hand right about now. Persons that the private hospitals that you've seen setting up all over, they're not important doctors. Let me just remind you of that. They're not important doctors and medical professionals. So what you have is doctors that come back that is trained on government of Guyana monies
Mhm.
overseas. They're coming back, so because they were trained like that, they are bound to the system to go and work at the public hospitals. And what they're doing now is whilst being employed at public hospitals, many of them are also employed at the private hospitals. So we have a system that needs immediate attention
Yeah.
in fixing those
Yeah.
issues. Now, you know why they're doing that is because the system is so messy when it comes to the pay. They're not getting a livable wage, so they're
Yeah.
trying to make ends meet the best they can. But it is a disservice to the public hospitals as well when it happens like that. If you go to the private hospitals, I'm telling you, chances are the doctor that's treating you there, you can go to the public hospital and that doctor will treat you there at a different date as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
that's I'm not even guessing these things. That's what's going on. We have serious issues there.
Very much so, very much so. I had a friend who said he went to visit a certain doctor. He said, instantly the man was about to leave for lunch when he was going in.
Mm,
He said when he was going in, the man started writing the prescription.
mm,
You know, I see that just started writing prescription.
mm.
And it's different, you know. The healthcare system needs serious work.
Yeah.
Again, you always say it, bringing the professionals
Yeah,
and let me move the thing forward. Bringing the
Yeah.
professional people. We don't know everything in and of ourselves.
yeah.
Believe it or not. We don't know everything.
And there's some
Right,
good
bring in the
doctors
professionals.
there.
They
There's
are.
some
They are.
good,
They are.
excellent
Some good
doctors
doctors.
there. Like at the
Right?
spine surgeon, I think that's the only one in the country, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
One.
But good to
You gotta do
see
better.
Rena Cummins and Stead. Didn't I see Stead just a second ago? The comments are going by so fast. Rena's here as well. Rena Cummins, yeah. Stead, Liverpool, yeah. I know my eyes in film. Claudette Clark, it's not the thing these days, but it's not the bad too. Pansy Field and all the other folks, Mangalia, Let Low, joining us, and Linda McCalman, Carmen Daly. Great to see you folks. Share that live for us. Smash that emoji button. Oh, let the emojis look indicative of the folks who are watching us. We're looking 10 with the emoji, folks. Let us know how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Smash that emoji button. Third day of November, folks, and we're happy that you're here with us. Some other things brewing locally. We spoke about this one yesterday morning, folks. We spoke about the 10,000 jobs that them boys said they're creating, but I don't know if they listened to us and they went and pulled it back. They said, no permission has been given to this company, DEPCO, for development of oil refineries in Region 6, and they don't know how Quantico went ahead and made these pronouncements that 10,000 jobs were going to be created. And you see the right hand, don't know the left hand. It's every man for himself. It's wild, wild west in this regime here. It's the wild, wild west. Every man for himself. And they put out a big statement saying that
Who put out a statement?
the government.
Which government?
Right? The PPP regime.
No, the PPP regime can't put out a statement after Guyana Chronicle that is controlled by the government, particularly Kwame McCoy. That is responsibility. So is the government saying that Kwame don't know?
Getting this from the DEPCO sent a press statement to them and said publish this as front page. It was front page.
I'm telling you.
Of the Chronicle yesterday. 10,000 jobs. Right? And we passed through and said, this is nonsense.
Basically.
Where are they getting these people from? 10,000 oil refinery jobs? This is Texas? Look, get real. They said they have given no permission or commitment to DEPCO for development of these oil refineries.
They don't understand why certain people wasn't a Chronicle when they got there, you know? They didn't understand why those persons were not. They went and they put them back there because they didn't understand.
They want lackeys. They don't want professional people. And that's where you get for it. That's where you get for it. Folks, getting into the big issue this morning. The big issue. It's a big one. The big one. Big issue, folks. We're talking about the high cost of living. The high cost of living. You see what they're doing? They're international. They're on the campaign trail. You see? But look at them. Look at that in there already back there. Getting like Silver Fox, the burden, you know, of actually having to work once in your life. The burden of actually having to work. Everybody getting gray. Look at their faces. These look like happy people. Look at Todd. Todd don't know if they're going to stand up. And then you got Zulfikar Mustafa making a mess of agriculture. Then, of course, you got our hardworking servicemen. Right? They can bring them to political events now. The cost of living, Twitter. You know, the cost of living knocking people. You see? And they don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. And we in it. Folks, we showed you quite recently what the World Bank is telling us. Leon, you have to pay attention now. Stop typing. Stop texting. Stop messaging. Pay attention, Leon. This is the World Bank. Just yesterday, we reported on this aspect. The World Bank says Guyana is among the highest, has the poverty. The poverty in this country is among the highest in Latin America and Caribbean. There was no conspiracy between the opposition and the World Bank. The people who do the work, they got the professionals there who know to crunch the numbers. They have the, what do you call them, the indices, the indicators they look for. And then they come up with, not conjecture, they come up with fact. Lots of Guyanese people having a hard time right now. Having a hard time with the economics of the PPP. The World Bank is telling us the poverty in Guyana, not in Brazil, not in Venezuela, in Guyana. Leon Goberdan, Guyana Spectator, is the highest in Latin America, among the highest in Latin America and the Caribbean. That was yesterday, right? Additional information, they're telling us almost 50% of Guyanese live on $1,000 a day. Not US. So let me bring y'all back real quick. Not US, not TT, not EC. Guyana dollars. 1,000 Guyana dollars. That's why people get it hard. That's why people punishing under the PPP. Punishing.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, you know. But Shara, they're correct. I want to remind persons of a particular a number, if I can get to pull it up right now,
Mm-hmm.
because whilst we talk about all these things, we also have to acknowledge the fact that we're looking at unemployment levels also very very high. So basically, what that's saying is that there are more persons in a household. Well, there are less persons employed, less adults are employed in a household than needs to be in order for them to just survive, for them to not be captured within that level of
Mm-hmm.
extreme poverty as a family, or basically absolute poverty, even worse. And I did tell you guys before that we have a lot of persons living in absolute
Yeah.
poverty, in which
Yeah.
they can't even afford
Absolute and
food and all of
abject.
that, right? But the extreme poverty, and this is more so where they have the indices and indicators that measures and say, by this amount of money you have, I think it's $2 and something, 2 points of US dollars per day. That's the measurement there, and I think that was based on 2017 inflation numbers. So even if you bring that forward to the inflation numbers in Guyana, you will understand there's something else to take into consideration there.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have a system in place right now, and I am happy that there's a number these numbers are there to basically to substantiate what I've been saying all along, that we have the majority of Guyanese actually living what could barely afford to
Yeah.
survive on a daily
Yeah.
basis. To say that just
Yeah.
40, because the report is basically saying like 48% of the Guyanese, living on less than
Yeah.
1,000
Yeah.
US
You
per day.
understand why when the cow sit down there, the men say the beef carries?
Yeah, but even for that
You
police
understand?
officer, if you go to see what they are paid, also,
Yeah.
a lot of times we give them a
Yeah.
lot of lashes and so,
Yeah.
but they are surviving on basic minimum. It's ridiculous. You expect persons to go out there and to pretend that they're okay and they're not, and that has a tip over point.
Yeah.
That police officer it wasn't joke or fun for him when he
Yeah.
decided to cut that cow up. It was a situation in which he believed that it was necessary to be done. Why would you leave something to go to waste?
Right.
We
Right.
just spoke about Venezuela, and the government and opposition to go into talk. They went to a point where persons literally going through the trash looking for food, children and all
Correct.
of those things.
Correct.
We have
Correct.
a very serious situation at hand right now. We continue to say that the resources cannot be directed just to a few at the very helm. You cannot have a situation in which you're seeing government spending
Mm-hmm.
expand, and you're not
Mm-hmm.
seeing where it's going. Definitely not being
Yeah.
given to the people.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares if government spending expands and all of those things. You're moving in a good direction, but it's when you don't see that being given to the people, you have a major problem with that. We have a problem with the way in which things are going, and we have seen endless reports. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Bureau of Statistics is getting me a little upset because they haven't been given reports at the rate in which I want to see it. So, but let us just move forward from from that. The unemployment rate is high, particularly for young people. Let me just put that out there. Youth unemployment is extremely high in Guyana. We cannot just push that one side. Young people are now working. So, what are they doing? If you're not
Yeah.
working, what are you doing? Right? Somebody got to be feeding you. Who's feeding you? Minimum wage is at $70,000. Who is feeding you?
Yeah.
All right, and,
Yeah.
and this is what people have to say. So all of the trolls, all of those persons, they have no argument to bring to the front when it comes to these numbers, because the World Bank report is confirming that in a country that has excessive resources, in a country that have probably the largest GDP per capita,
Uh-huh.
persons are living in poverty, and not just poverty, living in extreme poverty.
Correct.
And persons, a lot of times when people talk about those levels and the extreme poverty rate and those things, like, I can tell people that you need to understand that if somebody in Guyana is working for minimum wage, if a family have two persons working for minimum wage, then you have to actually look at the amount of persons that those two incomes are sustaining to actually determine whether or not they're living in extreme poverty or not. And you will see the majority of Guyanese are. They are.
Yeah.
It's a very serious situation that we are looking at right now,
Yeah.
but we have to continue to bring the conversation.
Very well.
I want to remind persons at this time of a video that you did one morning. You went out there like very early in the morning, and you were into, what was the name of the place that got flooded? I am
Oh, Peter's Hall.
Peters Hall.
We're in the community area.
Right. This is not somewhere in the hinterland.
Yeah.
I want you to understand these numbers and what they're speaking to. This is not somewhere back in the interior where there's there's the access to resources is difficult. The access to economic opportunity is difficult. This is right here centrally. Peters Hall is central. Sherrod went into Peters Hall one morning and he did a video, not going to check the standard of living of the people. He went because the people got flooded. And what was very evident is the level of suffering and punishment that people are going through right here centrally. So you don't get to go and say that those persons are so far back and all. And if you understand those numbers and you understand that video and you put it together, you will understand what people are living with in the hinterland. If that is central, we have somebody living in probably a 10 by 10, 2, 3 persons trying to shack up together, got a little old stove at the side, that is not the country in which you want to say you're proud to be a part of.
There are some people, a space no bigger than where we are here. A whole family.
A whole family.
And this kitchen and bedroom and everything all in one, It was heartbreaking more than the flood, I think. You see people, living in rooms that got no windows. I got a door.
It's, the youth unemployment, and this is still the most recent data that they have is from the third quarter 2021, which was 31.9%. I want to see the updated numbers for that. That's why I said, I believe that we're way back with those data. When you see the images coming forward, you understand it more than when you hear the numbers. Like you hear the numbers that we have 48% of persons living in less than 1,000 US per day.
Yeah.
But then when you go and see it, when you shoot that video, when you go up to those persons that squatting, and you see those families.
We're going to be talking with folks from Beirut shortly as well. We're going to talk with them about their own concerns there. Drita, parts of Peters Hall that we went into, Peters Hall, Providence, went into, it's people who vote PPP.
Yes.
Right? And what I learned that is more that connects us than separates us. Right? Those people were in a crunch, and still in a crunch because nobody has gone to give them any compensation. It's the second time, they've been at the peril of something that is man-made, because if the people are taking care of the cocoa and so on, that problem would not be there. And probably there'll be a third and even a fourth time. Nobody can go for talk about compensation. Right? And they got it hard, and I hope it's addressed soon. But you see people who, because of the gravity of the situation, the politics went out the window, all they want is help.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a home that said, don't come in there. Be able to ask you in. Come. Bring the camera here. Look this thing. You see that? Race went out the window. Political affiliation went out the window. All they want is help. When a man drunk and you don't ask, which party you vote for?
Yeah.
You see? They just want help.
Yeah.
Come and see this thing. Look up to my bed. Look up to my fridge. Everything is spoiled. You understand me? I could not ordinarily get access to some of those homes.
Yeah.
People walking from upstairs to downstairs. Look what happened here. Look the pot, look the stove, everything underwater.
Yeah.
Understand me? And ordinarily, you carry cameras, they shy away. They say, maybe what happened here. But when you're in a crunch, you got to who come once it's help.
But that's why it's important for us to continue to take the information and the message for I have one principle, and this is the political position that I have, and this is how I live my life. And I tell people that the last thing I look for when it comes to the division in our country, everybody attacks it from a standpoint of this grouping against that grouping, and they never attack it from me from the right grouping, if I can say that. For me, the only groupings that we should be looking at is when it comes to the classes in society and the way in which that division is there. We cannot get anywhere unless we let people understand that classes don't see race when it comes to and I'm talking about the economic class of it, right? Nobody cares. Guess what? We have Indian people, indigenous people, African people, mixed people. We have everybody, right? All of the races you can think about. When you talk about that 48%, they're all being captured here. All of those ethnicities are being captured here. Guess what? Again, political affiliation, all of them are being captured there as well. People are suffering, and unless we get to a point in which we collectively add our voices together and say, as this grouping, as this 48%, we demand more, you're not going to get it, because you are allowing persons to divide you based on how you look, which area you live, who your grandmother used to vote for, and because of that, they are winning this war. And we can't allow that. There are so many battles that we have, but you cannot allow them to win this war, because the war is going to say that that number is going to move from 48% to probably 58% or 68%. And guess what? Then the saturation of the wealth, the persons at the very top, they're going to move from controlling 7%, 70% of the wealth to move to controlling 80% of the wealth, and then 90% of the wealth. So you have these billionaires being created in a country that you have absolute poverty on a rise.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. That's what we try to tell people all the time. That is the conversation that we need to be having every single day. It is not okay for the resources not to be distributed in a way that affords you the basic opportunity to raise your own standard of living. And it's not going to be done through handouts. Let me say that there is a place always for all of those measures. But when you come to making sure that you as a family, your family, your neighbors, and all of your friends and relatives that doesn't even live with you and all of those things, in order for you guys to have the opportunity to get a better standard of living, you have to see those avenues being created through policy framework by the government. And that's not what we're not seeing. You have to start by looking at wages and salary. You cannot tell people with a straight face that you're not going to be giving them a proper wage when inflation is on the rise. That doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense.
Precisely.
Okay.
Precisely.
So we have a lot of conversation that we need to have around this particular thing. But when it comes to the numbers, you know what we're saying. We can complicate it. We can look at the GDP and how it is derived. We can look at every bit of those numbers and show people where it is going for. But the main point is poverty. We've been telling you poverty is real and alive right here.
You can take that to the bank, and bank it.
But those persons don't even have, one of the things, because we can tie in that report into everything. We hear the administration, particularly, I note like Irvanadi loves to speak about housing and stuff like that. Those people can't afford to build no house. Let's start from that.
Yeah.
Someone that lives on less than $1,000 per day can't afford to build no house. Let's start from that position. They can't afford to go and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a house lot. You understand what I'm coming from? They cannot afford that. So when you talk about these things that you're doing, you are not putting systems in place that actually gives way for them to even be included into these things. That's what we've been talking about. The most vulnerable in society have to be protected. That's how we have to measure development. And this is what I've been preaching this. You guys should be tired of hearing me say it. I have been preaching that the only way we can measure development, real development of our country, is when the most vulnerable in society is given the opportunity and their standard of living is starting to elevate. And as we've seen it right about now, it is quite the contrary. So we are not seeing any aspect of development.
One day they could aspire and say, we can bring more people out of the low class into the middle, and create the safety nets, create the programs to help them, because every citizen.
And you don't sign them off.
Wagyu.
You don't sign. Listen, you don't.
Wagyu vegetables.
You don't sign people off. I've learned. I have a different mindset when it comes to people that lives in poverty. I don't look at them a certain way because I was there. You understand the difference. You have to live it to understand it. I was there in that category of extreme poverty. I was there. That's where I survived. That's where I came from. So I look at people differently. This is why I know that a child living in extreme poverty is not a child that is written off as less class and less brilliance or something like that. Because in that situation of having to wake up with a lamp in the middle of the night when my neighbors have electricity and all of those, in that situation, I still was able to write an exam, top the region, elevate and keep moving. You keep pushing, you keep pushing, you keep pushing, because there's nothing you are no less a person because you are not economically empowered, because the system is designed to make sure that it keeps you down. That I have a problem with that. There's no problem that if you were born into a poor situation. The majority of Guyanese were born into poor situation because we're coming from a situation of poverty throughout the country, right?
Yeah.
The majority of Guyanese, a lot of people want to go out there and pretend as though they were born different. The majority of Guyanese came from that situation, struggles, and we have to embrace it, and we have to make sure that when we get to a point that we are doing better, that we understand and we recognize where we came from, the challenges that we had, and we pave the way forward for other persons to be elevated. The country have enough resources to make sure that the way is paved for persons to elevate their lives, and that's what we keep pushing for. Oh, that's it for
Guys,
me.
we can pick it back on some of this discussion, hopefully in our podcast. But we're giving you guys a warning. We may not have our podcast today because we got a lot of events happening. Parliament is Monday, and one of the events is that we might be meeting as parliamentarians and discussing the way forward with us concerned, and some other things happening on the ground too. So I'm just putting an asterisk there. If you see the sign, no podcast today, don't be surprised by it. But I'm just putting you on notice. And this is our anniversary month.
Yes.
Believe it or not, 2 years,
is.
guys. 2 years since we're out here. On the whole, you know, it is our affiliate program in the ring that give birth to all of this morning program and podcasts and credible sources website and all of that. 2 years, guys, we've been out here, and we think we've been good stewards of your generosity, and we encourage you guys because of the things rough here too. Things rough here, but we can keep coming out and doing what we got to do. Things rough at this end. Partner with us so that we can do what we have to do as well, and we can keep these programs coming to you. We're available via Zelle and PayPal. We're available via Cash App. Available via MoneyGram, Western Union, MMG as well. But the number you want to call if you need any guidance, 627-6963. The graphic is lost somewhere in translation right now. 627-6963. Do that for us and help us to move forward. We encourage you to donate. We encourage you to give. We encourage you to partner with us. Be a part of what's happening, and so that we can keep on keeping on.
Yeah, it's very important. I think that we can't stress the amount of things that we get done with every dollar that you send. It's absolutely amazing. We stretch it. We always do that. We make sure that we put every bit of energy into making sure that it goes the extra mile to get things done, keep the lights on, and we ask that you continue to partner.
Yeah. Please and thank you.
Your partnership is what
Please,
we
thank
want.
you.
We want the marriage.
Yeah.
We want just a dating.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that.
You want the marriage, a full marriage.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for being with us, and
See
we'll
you.
see you back during the course of the day.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our time.
That's our time.